As we were saying, Skillet was about to make another excellent point on this nonsense with the black-white athlete.
I used to watch the World's Strongest Man, and there was a guy named Maris Puzanowski that would always win. That would always win every year. And obviously, everybody was on them steroids. So I mean, we're not even talking about that. That's a whole different subject. But there was this one black guy that represented Great Britain, I believe it was, and he was shaped like a black man. I mean, his arms were huge, big upper body, huge ass, thighs like you wouldn't believe, but then from his knee to his ankle, and I'm a calf person, I love looking at calves, he had, it was developed much more.
He was a disco dancer.
Thank you, H. And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean?
Whatever.
Anyway.
I'm not talking about men's calves.
Hold on,
you fucking sissies. I'm not talking about that
So
shit.
this is a female's calf you're talking about.
No. I'm saying
It is men's calves.
No,
then.
what I'm saying,
He was
fucking
a
clown.
disco dancer.
No, I observe things. You guys are fucking sick.
First you gonna say he had a huge ass. I let that go. I let it go when you said he had a huge
First
ass.
of all,
then
he
you said
did
you
have
love
a huge ass. So I mean, Charles Barkley had a huge ass. I mean, it's
Charles Barkley did have a huge ass.
when he gained weight. Yeah, it was terrible. They used to make jokes about his ass when he.
How does it look now?
How the fuck, motherfucker? Listen,
Just leave it alone, man. You just thinking.
Love's going to leave.
I know my orientation, so I'm gonna fuck what you motherfuckers say. I'm gonna go right back to what I was saying.
Please.
This guy had the standard. When I say, I'm an artist for these fucking clowns in here, so I've been looking at nude models, both male and female, since I was 11. So I have an observant eye when it comes to certain traits with different races. And if you look at the fastest man in the world, Usain Bolt, right now, no calves. They're very lean. Whereas you look at some of the Nordic guys and all those other guys, they have huge legs, huge trunk sections, huge waistlines and stuff like that. Muscle, can't run fast to save their life. So in any case, this dude, as big as he was, I mean, when it would come to certain things, like explosive things, he was fantastic. But when it came to like lifting up, like, I don't know, some big, huge stone and then like walking across something and walking back, his legs would always fail him because he just didn't have the structure, the lower body structure to overcome these certain events. So he would always plateau at a certain point and that would be it. So I'm just saying, it's not like the guy didn't want to win.
Well, of course, that has to be because that's the explanation, right?
Yeah, he didn't want to win.
He didn't choose to work hard at that point of his body.
Yeah.
To be able to win those events.
And all people
because
need to,
we're just stupid.
Yeah, all people need to do is look at the NBA. These guys train themselves to run and jump and everything else like that. And they are, the Europeans are making big pushes inside the NBA. But you never really see them as the speedsters. They're never really the speedsters or the high flyers. They're the ones that can distribute the ball, the great shots and stuff like that. But, it's not like these guys wouldn't. I mean, because put it this way, if one of these European players could play like LeBron James, don't you think they would want to?
But that's what I'm saying. It's such a
they have no desire?
ridiculous notion. The money.
First of all, hold on. Fuck y'all. I just had to put that down. No, fuck you, man. This guy's been trying to ridicule me for weeks with this bullshit. I'm tired of this shit. Go ahead.
Look, why are you mad at me, man?
Who am I supposed to be? You're tearing
Ken
apart what I'm
was sitting
saying.
right here when you said it.
You're tearing apart.
He had a huge ass, and I love this calf. I just love looking at calves.
I didn't say I love his calves.
Oh, but you love looking at
not men's calves, but women's calves.
No.
He asked you if you said if
No, I was talking about his calves as far as in his calves.
So you
being
were
small.
talking about his
I'm saying
calves.
his calves being small, but when I said I love calves, I meant overall.
Okay, look, we can just agree to disagree that Skillet Sauce is a disco dancer. And let's just move on. It's a disco dancer. I mean, it's all good. We love Skillet anyway.
Motherfuckers, man. Any case.
But like I said, this notion that, hordes of people all across the world just choose to not focus and not work hard at being faster and being able to jump higher than this group of people over here. I mean, that's just so ludicrous. Yeah. I mean, and again, as far as this whole thing with the slaves, again, if you have the basic concept of evolution, like you said, of breeding.
Not evolution, just breeding. When you think of breeding animals for a certain task, you're not going to breed.
Breeding is a form of evolution.
Yeah.
An accelerated form of evolution.
True.
You're setting a creature in a situation that will make certain things happen quicker than they naturally would if he just lived his normal life. That's what you do with cows. That's what you do with pigs. And
do that
all
with racehorses. You do that with dogs. I mean, dog trainers.
Right,
that's why they always say this is a purebred or this one is mixed with so and so.
And when you enslave people and you make them, just go watch fucking Conan. The Conan movie.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know,
I mean, as funny as that is,
the original one with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
The original one.
He's captured as a kid and he's made to push a goddamn work wheel around for his whole, adolescent, teenage, and young adult life.
And
which
once he
turns him into a brazen oxen.
And once he was that brazen oxen, remember that, I just saw this recently, he said, and he was bred, they said he was bred to the finest women, the finest stock. And they would bring the baddest looking chicks in there to mate with this dude because they figured, okay, you got this big, gigantic, super lean, athletic swordsman, that can lift up an ox and shit. They brought a bunch of women because they wanted to breed more of him. They wanted to breed soldiers. I mean, the whole beginning of 300, if you look at that film, the Battle of Thermopylae, when whatever, you saw the fucking film, they were taking all of the children that were not of a certain standard and killing them. They were just literally, you're not gonna make it. They threw them off a cliff. You're finished. We could only breed warrior children. If this kid has anything wrong, it's dying. And so, like I said, I understand when he says they want to make it seem like his hard work is the only thing. The hard work and them steroids is the only thing that made him win these races. But his body also has something to do with it.
And they also want to make sure that a black man isn't going on television thanking his former slave masters for slavery. I mean that's the greatest insult that you can possibly do to a black American. But this man, I mean, like I said, he may not have phrased it in the best way.
No, he definitely phrased it horribly.
But for the love of Christ, man, stop with this bullshit and just listen to what the guy is saying, and then use your brain.
Well, that's not going to happen in today's media because, I'm wondering, what they sort of got off of the Serena Williams thing because that's all they used to say. They were great athletes. They were great athletes. They were great athletes. And now that she's put everything together, where she has a high tennis IQ mixed with her physical attributes, what she's doing, what she did at this past Olympics was unprecedented. The way she treated the rest of the world, and I'm talking about the number one player of the world, not the number one player in some country. I mean the number one tennis player on earth by the rankings. Serena Williams beat this girl like she literally had an appointment with the hairdresser or something. Like she literally had no time to be on this court for more than 45 minutes. So she had to get rid of her so she can go do an interview or do whatever. And it was embarrassing it was literally embarrassing what she did to these people.
Well, unfortunately, speaking of time, it's amazing how time flies when you actually try to adhere to a schedule. Anyway, folks, thanks again for joining us. We have to end the show, but of course we'll be back next week. I hope you enjoyed it.
Where to find us.
That's right. We are on Facebook, Insanity Check. Please watch our YouTube channel, Insanity Check Radio. Again, enhanced versions of what you see live. Exactly. And of course, send us some feedback, comments, whatever on Twitter, Insanity Check.
I'll put all the links up on Twitter
and all the links will be
this
on there, so you can see all the stuff that we've been talking about. Thanks again, and we'll catch you guys next week.
And fuck you.
Some days I sit and wish I was a kid. Back in the days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. But some days I sit and wish I was a kid again.
We're trying to make it, baby.